Take a second and think about a great athlete, like Michael Jordan, a Tom Brady, or even a Muhammad Ali. Take their greatness and give it a little upgrade. As an everyday sports fan, I think the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports could make it a lot more entertaining. It may sound controversial, but once you think about it, the possibilities are endless. Scoring 50 points in a basketball game could become second nature, and performances of a lifetime could happen every single night. And as athletes get stronger and faster, records will begin to be smashed. Sports as a whole will become an entire highlight, and if you take it what it looks to break a record, it comes down to a hundredth of a second. Let's take a look at an era of baseball where ped usage was already rampant. It seemed inevitable that Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire would beat Roger Maris's 37-year-old record, but it was just a matter of time or who would get there first. Both of these guys went off this season, getting almost 140 home runs just between the two of them. Players cracked dingers left and right, and the fans loved it. Of course these guys were doping, but it didn't matter, because every time someone hit a grand slam, it electrified the stadium. There's actually something like this already going on. There are tested and untested powerlifting leagues, and the numbers say it all for themselves. On average, the records in the untested weight classes were 20 to 40 pounds heavier than the tested leagues. Some records were even 100 pounds more. Performance-enhancing drugs was and is still one of the most dastardly things an athlete can do, however. There are quite a few scandals with athletes, and quite a few of them are really notable. Whether or not someone can carry the load for their team is always a question. But when someone looks for a boost towards greatness with the help of some supplements to make them push past their maximum potential and go plus ultra, it's thought to be shameful, when really they just want to be the GOAT. Lance Armstrong really had something going up until his doping scandal. He racked up 7 Tour de France wins, and that's a 2,000-plus mile race. Wicked. As well as overcoming cancer in the middle of it. The man went from being globally idolized to being one of the most hated athletes of all time. Of course, there are many other athletes who didn't catch the hate, which some of us still adore to this day. Few spectacles have divided the sports world like Ray Lewis's farewell tour. Ray Lewis was an absolute phenom on the field, and the people of the NFL loved him. Some could say he was arguably one of the greatest middle linebackers to see the game. However, there were many questions about his career that no one bothered to ask. He made an improbable comeback from a torn triceps muscle to rule center stage during the Baltimore Ravens march during the playoffs, and he did not disappoint. He still made it out a legend. But how can we supervise such a thing? Doctors. With them working on it, they can prevent any long-term side effects and make it entirely better as a whole, just as they do with any other drug. Doctors who try to enhance the performance of their athletes shouldn't be punished for the use of pharmacological aids, but should be punished and held accountable for any ill effects. And this is really the reason why I think performance-enhancing drugs in sports can make it a lot more entertaining. But overall, when it comes down to it, performance-enhancing drugs right now are illicit substances for a lot of different reasons. They do have bad long-term side effects, and they do provide an unfair advantage. But once you shine a light on the possibilities that could come out of legalizing it, that's endless. Athletes would prosper in ways one could only imagine. They would get faster, stronger, and they would only get better as time goes on.